Grab a beer and pull up a chair. Welcome to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. Well, Jim, we were going through our beer fridges and discovered that we had some pumpkin beers left.
Oh.
So we're going to do...
When you say left, what's that mean?
It means that they were left over from last fall. So again, some of these may not be the freshest, and we are taking that into account because we will probably do November timeframe. We'll probably do the fresh pumpkin beer podcast. But for today, we're going to try.
Gonna twist my arm when we have to do that one?
I don't have to twist it that hard. I'm pretty sure you'll go along with me on that.
All right.
But so we're going to try some pumpkin beers today. Again, like I said, we were scrounging through our beer fridges and found we had some left. So I said, hey, let's get rid of them right now.
And it's not to say any of them are bad.
Nope.
But we may have overlooked them last
We
fall.
overlooked them because, like I said, we have not done a pumpkin podcast yet. So we're going to do, I'll call it a late season pumpkin beer podcast. And then we'll have the actual pumpkin podcast later. So
nice.
So yeah, what am I expecting? I'm expecting glasses full of pumpkin pie on some times. Hopefully not like squash.
Yes.
But we'll see what happens.
My fingers are crossed.
The first one we're going to try today is by Three Sheeps Brewing.
Okay.
And it is Pumpkin Spice Veneration. Belgian style quad ale aged in rye whiskey barrels with pumpkin spice.
Oh, what was that aged in again?
It's aged in rye whiskey barrels. I had no idea.
Oh, good. Hey, that's a good one. You know what? I think I like it already, and I haven't even had one single sip of it.
I'm trying to find the ABV on the can. So the can is kind of a pumpkin-y color, but it's got like two hands reaching for the same glass, one from each side, 12 fluid ounces. Does it say what the ABV is? We will have to look that up.
Anything that's been in a whiskey barrel is going to be good.
You look at that. I'm going to look it up.
All right.
Because I am very much interested to see what this is.
Well, I'm going to put my readers on here just to make sure I can might be able to see something different here.
Oh, here we go. I found it. 13.4%.
Oh.
Do we want to start with that? Oh, it's on the bottom of the can.
It's right here. So it says on the side, ABV on the bottom of the can.
Do we want to start with that or do we want to finish with that? What do you think there, Jim? Because that's a big beer.
Well,
we had no idea.
It's out already.
Well, we'll do it. Might as well do it. 13.4. I will guarantee none of the rest of the ones we got are 13.4. Wow.
So that's already a shocker right there for you, isn't it?
So that means
it's right in my wheelhouse.
There you go.
Now let's hope the pumpkin flavor comes through.
Well, right.
And it's not over the top. That's, correct. I guess, the best part. Because I like it. I like pumpkin pie. I like that. I just don't like over the top. And it does take a little bit to craft that. Look at that.
Well,
Oh, look at that, baby.
Wow, Jim, that's almost a reddish color, isn't it? Well, I suppose it's, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it gives a good head.
I'm going to say
like a brownish tint.
I'm going to say it's been in a barrel. You can smell the barrel.
You can smell. I don't smell pumpkin.
A little bit. I do smell pumpkin spice. So you get the nutmeg, the clove, that kind of stuff. But I definitely get that barrel.
Wow, that is
all I have to say.
Tremendous.
All I have to say is that is an amazing beer right there.
Wow, Mike.
That is crazy good.
I think we should have put this at the end.
Yeah.
This is...
We're going to leave what's left in the can so we can try it after we're done. But that is crazy good.
Holy cow, folks. I wish I could put into words the way that they've crafted this. Because, granted, you can smell the alcohol. You smell it at first, but the taste does not like alcohol.
No, you get the pumpkin spice. You know what I mean? You get that. I don't want to say it's like when you go to a potpourri store, but you know what I mean? But you get the spicy flavor. I don't taste the barrel at all.
No.
It is wow.
You don't taste the whiskey barrel part of it.
No.
You taste the pumpkin and the spice part.
Like I said, all I can say is, wow, this is a crazy good beer.
Mike, this is like in that category where we probably rare air. We don't usually give some of these scores, but this is like, I am very impressed.
I am too. I'm just going to say right now, initial thoughts, this is well over a 4.
100% agreement. This is well into the upper echelon of beers that we've ever tasted.
Man.
And what is so weird, I don't know if it's weird or not, but this is one, again, I bought out of a build-your-own 6-pack.
That's
at
crazy.
one of our local liquor stores here.
That is crazy.
It just happened to be there. It looked like something we hadn't had before. I just reached in and grabbed it. So, I mean, I did not have, and again, I did not know it was 13.4 until we looked at the bottom.
Right.
I did not know that. I mean, I wasn't trying to hide anything, but I didn't know.
I looked on Untappd, and you saw on the side, it said, look on the bottom, and it's like, there's 13.4, and I'm like, that is crazy. But, oh my gosh, there's no way I would have thought this is 13.4.
No, there's
at all.
You know, and again, we try to keep everything honest. We try to keep everything so it's not influenced, just our opinions. But again, this is like the way that they've crafted it, melded everything together. If you are not even a craft beer drinker, I think you would still like this. Even our wives would like this because they don't like anything that came from a whiskey barrel.
Right.
But this doesn't taste like it.
No, and this was it said it was out of a rye whiskey barrel. Yeah, rye whiskey. I don't taste, because some of the ones you get the really strong alcohol flavor. You don't get this at all.
No.
And I mean, this definitely, if you'd asked me, what is this? I'd have said, I don't know, 7%.
Easily,
I mean? That's what it kind of tastes like. But the pumpkin, you get the pumpkin spice, but it's not over the top, but it's a almost, I hate to say it, almost that perfect flavor. That is crazy. Wow.
Go first. I'll let you go first. I mean,
I got to take another sip of this.
I am just amazed. This is
honestly
one of those. Again, this is one of those nuggets. You're reaching in the grab bag. You don't know what's down there, and all of a sudden you pull out, it's a gold nugget.
I'm going to rarefied here. I'm going to 4.5. Wow. This is got to be the highest rated pumpkin beer I've ever done. This is amazing. 3 Sheeps. If you hear this, wow! Congratulations. This is crazy good.
Mike, I'm gonna go with exact same number. I mean, I'm not trying to copy you. I'm not trying to downplay anything you said, but I mean, this is I'm so taken back by how good it is.
You don't get the whiskey flavor, the pumpkin spice flavor is just almost perfect. Again, it's a scary beer because if you drank 2 cans of it, you'd probably be hammered, but this is crazy. I mean, unbelievable.
Said, we usually try to finish on the high alcohol ones. You pulled this.
I just pulled it out because I had
You didn't know.
No.
I mean, we didn't know, but this would have been a good way to finish. But boy, this is, Mike, if this is how the first beer is, you have some big shoes to fill.
They've set the bar rather high, and I cannot say that the rest of them that we have are going to meet that because who knows.
Right.
But wow, this is crazy good. So
I'm going to set this off the side.
Yeah, we're going to leave what's in that can so we can try it later.
But folks,
when it warms up a little bit, it'll be interesting. But man, that is amazing.
If I'm not, again, I don't like to preach. I'm not trying to steer you any way or the other. But this is a beer that I would recommend to anyone.
Well, and when I looked on Untappd, so when I typed in the name of it, it came up, 2022. So I think every year they must come out with this.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully this fall we'll be able to revisit this again and try the 2023 version.
Wow, this is
see how it compares. Wow, Jim, kudos, man. That's crazy good.
That is, again, we don't have, again, folks. Mike, what is your spectrum for your range of scores?
Well, we go from 0, which we never get into beer, 0, but 0 to 5, 2.5 being average. And so the highest beer. So I've rated over 4,300 beers, and you've been there for a lot of them.
A few.
Yeah, like 4 or 5. The highest we've ever given is a 4.5.
Yep.
So this has just tied the highest that we've ever given.
And you correct me, for a pumpkin beer.
This is the highest pumpkin beer I've ever given a score. Like I said, it's just, all I can say is wow. I mean, the flavor, right? I mean, the way that the rye whiskey, it typically has a little bit of a peppery thing to it, and it could. But I think the pumpkin spice marries with that so well that, wow. That's all I can say. It's
very good.
Dang good.
Great job.
Yeah, congratulations, 3 Sheeps. If you'd like to talk about sponsorship, we are open to anything. All right, so let me go back in the cooler.
Some big shoes to fill, Mike.
I feel bad for the next beer because whatever I pull, we're going to be like, oh, that's not as good, Well, we'll just do this guy here.
All right.
So we're going pumpkin pie treat.
Pumpkin pie treat.
And this says, maybe I should pour this before I read it, Jim.
All right.
And you should taste, or do you want me to read it?
Yeah, pour it.
All right.
Let's do a surprise.
Let's see. Oh, Prairie Artisan Ales made it.
Oh, that's good. I mean,
and they have a lot of good beers.
Don't they do the bomb?
Yep, the bomb, the Christmas bomb, the birthday bomb,
and the deconstructed
bomb. Yes, they make some very good stouts.
So we've had some good beers from
Yes, this is, so I'd say 5.5%.
Just make sure. Get my readers on here for you.
Is that what it says?
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect. Don't read the rest of it.
5.5.
So,
and it says it's an ale, right?
Yes, it's an ale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this. You're going to taste it.
Yep.
Then I will read to you what the ingredients are.
All right.
And it's a little bit lighter in color.
Wow.
That's not a bad thing. And remember, this is pumpkin pie treat.
Smell is not bad.
Well, I'm going to say this. I was expecting it to be way worse, to be honest.
Wow.
This is actually not bad. So I'm going to read it.
There's something sweet.
I'm going to read it to you.
All right.
Honestly, the initial taste tastes like when you walk into a potpourri store a little bit. Right. It's got that, the pumpkin spice, definitely that kind of thing. Why I was hesitant to read it, because I thought you would be prejudgy. It says it's a sour ale with pumpkin pie spice blended with toasted marshmallow flavor. So I'm guessing
I don't taste anything sour.
No, I think the marshmallow kind of dampens that. Yeah. When you said about the sweet, I think that's the marshmallow.
This is not bad.
No, that's why I was waiting. Folks, I was so thinking Jim was going to just go crazy. And as soon as we tasted it, I'm like, that is actually not bad.
Wow. This is, I mean, I'm taking back for a sour ale.
This is not sour at all.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Again,
if you see this.
It was sitting next to this one.
Really? Wow.
But I don't think it's bad, is it?
This is not sour at all. Ladies and gentlemen,
if somebody wants to drink a sour ale,
yep.
Would you recommend this?
It depends. If they're, true sour beer drinkers, probably not. But if you've never tried a sour, by all means, try it. What I was going to say, folks, is if you see pumpkin pie treat by Prairie Artisan Ales out there, give it a try. I mean, honestly, is it like the last one? No. This is a different category, but this is way better than I thought it was going to be.
So it's surprisingly good then.
When it said sour ale with the first two words on the can, I was like, uh-oh. Because I don't mind sours. Jim, on the other hand, not so much. But this is not bad.
I mean, and I guess the other part that really is good there's the finish is not sour. Mm-hmm. I mean, so honestly, I am not sure where they say there's something sour.
You're right.
Maybe I'm missing something, but marshmallows covering.
I say something? Unless they put that much marshmallow in to cover it, but because the pumpkin spice is definitely there.
Yep.
And when you said, like I said again before, when you said there's a sweetness, I'm sure that's the marshmallow.
But they got the right balance.
Exactly.
I mean, everything, they did a very good job putting this together. I mean, this is, and again, when you hold it up in the light, it's this is a lighter colored beer with a little bit of head.
So when I poured it, honestly, Jim, I thought, oh boy, he's gonna go crazy, and it's good. I mean, right. The can, ladies and gentlemen, the can is a checkerboard kind of a motif on it, and it's white,
almost like it was a tablecloth.
Yeah, like a tablecloth, and it's white and like the pumpkin. Kind of an orangish, pumpkinish color. And then it's got, it's like a kind of a caricature of a piece of pumpkin pie on there, smiling and such. But honestly, this is actually, I'm impressed.
Again, folks, good. I am not a sour guy. I will never tell you that I like sours. I'm not that person. But I have to take a step back and admit that this sour ale is good.
Well, again,
I mean, I don't say that often.
If you blind taste tested me on this and said, what kind of style is, I'd have never said a sour at all. It does not taste like a sour to me, but this is good. It's good. I mean,
again, Mike, now, trust me, I walked into the liquor store. These were sitting next. I just pulled them. I've not tried them. I don't know anything about them. I just picked them out. So
no, wow. This is both of these first two have surprised me.
Are they okay? I mean,
yeah, you did okay. Now, is this in the category of the first one? No, but for a sour ale, this is crazy good, and even for a pumpkin beer, this is really good. Right. I mean, just
I think we talked about it at the beginning of the podcast, is that pumpkin is good, but when you go over the top, it doesn't make it good. But I think these first two have had the right balance. Oh, for sure. I mean, the flavor is there. The pumpkin spice, because like you said, sometimes the pumpkin spice beers, there's pumpkin beers and there's the pumpkin spice beers. And sometimes the pumpkin spice gets way over the top, like,
these have both been really spot on.
Are they?
You know?
So would you recommend either of these or both?
Oh, I'd recommend
somebody?
to both. It depends on what you're looking for, but I'd say if you see both of these on the shelf, get them. Right. Honestly, because I am totally impressed with both of these.
And I mean, even we've had several. I mean, Three Sheeps and Prairie. We've had both of these. Not the same beers, but from beers from these breweries.
A lot of beers from both of them,
and they've all been good.
Yep.
But I would say for both, these have probably been.
These are very good for both.
For both, I mean,
Three Sheeps, I'll guarantee that's probably the highest rated Three Sheeps beer we've had. This one, I'm not going to say that because
they've had some good imperial stouts.
Yes, some high octane stouts that are very good. But for a pumpkin beer, this is still very good.
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. So this fall, I should look to find these two again.
Sure. If they have the new version of these, yes.
And try so we could have we'll have sampling.
We'll have a fresh pumpkin beer.
Oh shoot, we haven't even done our stars yet.
No, on the first one we did.
Yep,
but not on Prairie. You go first on this one.
All right. I am struggling to find something negative to say.
And it's a sour. That is crazy. You have more than enough to say typically.
So the only thing that I'm really trying to wrap my brain around is every sour I've ever rated, I think in my entire life, has never cracked a 1.0.
Okay.
And this is on my upper end of the scale. So now I've got all these other sours that are lower. I mean, I think this is a 3.5.
Well, I was going to say, but you can't base it because how you rated the other beers.
True.
This is this beer, and I'm 100% at a 3.5 with you on this beer. Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I've never had a sour pumpkin beer.
Right.
That wasn't like past due. You know what I'm saying? I've never had that. But to say it's a sour ale, pumpkin spice beer, and then to taste like that, I was blown away. I mean, that, honestly, you could have that Thanksgiving, go here, and people are like, oh, that's good. Well, both of those beers, of course, the first one, you got to warn them, the alcohol. But, wow, yeah, dude, I tell you what, man.
So for just reaching in the cooler.
You did all right there. So
I set the bar a little higher than for you. So now the next ones
the next ones are mine. So of course, they're going to go downhill from here.
Because I always try to give Mike the top shelf.
Yes, you pull out your A game. I pull out the D, whatever I'm trying to get rid of. So
let's my fingers are crossed. These are close to what.
Now this next one, I have never had, so I don't know what it's like. And this is by Warrior Brewing Company, and it's Valkyrie Pumpkin Ale. Okay. It's a black can. It's got like a guy with a pumpkin head with like a warrior, like a warrior. He's got like a shield and a spear. It's very cool looking can.
Good artistry.
Very good. 5.5%, veteran owned, veteran brewed.
Wow, that's very good.
So kudos. There, kudos, guys. I mean, we definitely
support all of it.
Oh my gosh,
anything we can do to help.
Yes, as you guys that have listened for a while, I'm sure you've known that Jim was in the Marine Corps for 24 years. So yes, thank you very much for your service. Thank you to all of the military for their service. So we're going to see if they can brew beer.
All right, my fingers are crossed because we set the bar high.
Yes, you have set the bar very high, and I feel bad for this beer.
We should have probably almost ended with these two. That would have been a different.
If we'd have known then what we know now, we would have. But some of us didn't look at the bottom of the can to see what the ABV was. So that would be me.
All right, so it looks
this
lighter.
one is a lighter color. Kind of reminds me of the second one as far as color goes.
Does give a little bit of head. And it's more of a whitish head. Doesn't look bad.
The smell, the aroma is not. You get a little bit of. Well, you get some pumpkin. I guess it's not as over the top as the other ones were.
No, it's more mellow. It's not as. It's not as
the pumpkin spice does not
jump out at you.
It doesn't punch in the mouth,
right?
Like you said, jump out at you. It's more muted, but
it's a lot more mellow than the first one. It's not bad, but it's almost not a negative hit. It's almost a little bit too soft. You'd almost want just a little.
If they pumped it up just a little bit, If they had even the same pumpkin spice level as the Prairie one, this would be very good.
Yeah, because they're close.
Yes.
In my opinion, again, we don't knock any beers. We're trying to just tell you what we taste. But this is, it's not a bad beer.
Nope.
I mean, and they kudos for their logo, the way they wrote everything on the can.
Yep.
I mean,
the artwork is cool.
Awesome. Yep.
It's really cool. The can is black. Artwork, the wrap is black, and then the words and all that's in white. The warrior guy's all in white except for his pumpkin head, and then the streamer or the ribbon coming off of the spear. It's a cool look, but I do agree with you, Jim. They could use a little bit more flavor.
Did we say the ABV?
It was 5.5.
5.5. So it's not. So I guess if you piece it all together, I mean, it's not a bad beer.
Nope.
And it's not high alcohol. It's not. This might be a good fall beer then. If you're going to have some beers you're taste testing, this might be this might have been a good one for us to start with.
So where are they out of? Because I know I think I've only had maybe one or two other beers of theirs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're a newer company. I think, or at least newer to where we could find them.
Yes. So were you able to get that locally around here, or
actually I got this from BK, from Brian in the cities. He gave it to me. So I think he bought it in the cities.
So they get a little bit bigger span of people that can.
Boy, yet again, they write it's Warrior Brewing Company. It's right here, but I can't read. It's in this box here. See if your bifocals are better than. Oh, and then you dumped it on the table.
Brewed Duluth, Minnesota.
Duluth, Minnesota. There we go.
So we took one for the team.
No, I think the unfortunate thing for this beer.
Yep.
Is it followed those other two. And those other two are probably two of the best pumpkin beers we've had ever. Warrior Brewing Company, we support. In fact, veteran owned, veteran brewed. That is amazing. It's awesome. We support that. And if the only thing we could say is if you had just a little bit more pumpkin flavor or pumpkin spice flavor or whatever.
Either or.
Either or. I think that would help bring it up a little bit.
Yep. And again, it's not a bad beer. It's just a little bit of flavor. So, I mean, for me, I'd have to go probably like a 3.2, 3.3.
Okay. Personally, I was going to go, I'd go a 3.2. Just the lack of the pumpkin flavor between the first three. That's the one that had the least amount for sure of the first three.
Right.
And again, if we'd have started with that, it might have been different. You never know, but I think those other two set the bar so high that is like, wow, like I said, they were almost the perfect balance for the flavor. And then this one was it was lacking a little bit.
Yep, for sure.
All right, Jim. So now we're going to go to the fourth pumpkin beer.
All right.
This is Pumpkinhead by Shipyard, and they're out of Maine. So folks, if you listened last week, we had probably I think it's one of the few beers we've had from Maine. And so now we had another, this is, again, like I said, Pumpkinhead by Shipyard, and it's 4.5% ABV. So it should be easier tasting anyway. It's a lower alcohol. It almost has like a Headless Horseman kind of artwork, wouldn't you say?
Yep, kind of similar to
the Valkyrie, yeah. This one's on a horse, and he's holding a glass of beer in his hand, though. So he's way cooler.
So this guy was a warrior.
Yeah, this guy's totally. But he's on a horse. Everything's green except the beer and his pumpkin head.
All right.
So we're going to check this out.
Well, expectation is high again.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy that we had two from Maine. Like I said, we haven't had all that many from Maine. Really. Oh, you can smell the spice in that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's definitely got more of an aroma to it. Oh yeah, there's cinnamon for sure.
Yeah,
I get the cinnamon, maybe nutmeg.
It's.
I'm not sure if I get a lot of pumpkin though.
Right, I was gonna say it's more the
spice,
spicy
not
part.
not the pumpkin. Yeah, it's the spice part. I don't get. Do you get clove at all? Because that's usually in there too. But I don't know if I get a lot of clove.
I'll say this again. It's like there's the one. Maybe that's the finish. The pumpkin might be the finish.
It could be.
Man, this is again. It's hard. It's hard to differentiate. The first two, everything was crafted well. You could taste it here. It's like I think we're struggling.
Well, right now, honestly, this is third by far. I mean, this is the third best one we've had.
Right.
Between the four.
Yep.
This one, I definitely get the nutmeg, the cinnamon for sure.
Yep.
The
spice part.
Again, like I said, the Valkyrie, the Warrior Brewing, it was lacking the pumpkin or pumpkin spice, any of that flavor for me. Very good beer, but again, this one definitely you get that.
Right. And I mean, again, when you look at it, I mean, it looks to my glass, it's yellowish in color. It's not like a porter. It's not dark. It's very light in color.
Yeah, where typically I always thought pumpkin beers would have been more of kind of an amberish, pumpkiny color.
Yep, like
and most of these haven't been. Well, the first one was darker.
Yeah, a little bit, not
bad though. It wasn't like porter
like
stout.
scary.
No,
step back.
Again, like I said, the flavor on this one, I like it. I think
the
spice
now
part
after
of
I've
it
had my
comes out.
second or third sip, it's definitely getting better. I mean, it's definitely. I guess the flavors are starting to taste a little bit better. I'm starting to differentiate them.
Yep.
Where like the ones we had first, you knew from start to finish, you knew it was all well balanced and it all came across. So that's the only probably drawback. It does take a little bit of time to drink through this and then figure out all the flavors.
Yep. I'd agree with you. I mean, it's like I said, in the plus side, as soon as I tasted it, I cinnamon right there. Nutmeg was there. I don't, like I said, again, I don't get the overpower like pumpkin flavor. I get more of the spice flavor.
For sure.
But I don't know if that's a bad thing.
Right.
Honestly,
again, it's not over the top pumpkin. It doesn't say it here on the label. We're kind of guessing. But the first couple were pumpkin spice. So there's some good spice.
Yep.
So we don't know if they're going for the pumpkin flavor.
Correct.
Or the
pumpkin
spice flavor.
All I can guess, I would guess they're going for the pumpkin spice flavor, but it doesn't say that on there.
Right.
So it's Pumpkinhead from Shipyard in Maine. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not offensive.
Nope.
You want me to start off?
Yeah, you can, man.
So I think for me, it has taken a couple of sips off the glass to get the flavor, and maybe it's because it's warming up. I don't know. So it's not a bad beer. It's not offensive.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna probably have to give it like a 3.1. It is above average. So I'm giving it kudos there. But I don't. It's called Pumpkinhead, and I don't taste the pumpkin. So
correct.
That's my only hit of it.
Yep. I was going 3.0. Just because the same thing. I was expecting a little bit more flavor. I think the pumpkin the spice, like I said, the nutmeg and the cinnamon pops.
Yep.
That comes out. I don't really get the pumpkin part of it.
Right.
If we'd have got that, I think I'd have went higher, but very smooth, very mellow beer. Very, if you see it, I'd get it because it's a good beer.
Right.
But like I said, I just think we were expecting a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, so that's why I went 3.0.
Yeah, it's a little bit above average.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So
All right.
what are we getting on to?
So the next one, we're going to go to Flying Dog.
Flying Dog.
And this is a limited release. We've had a number of beers from Flying Dog, and their artwork is always extremely interesting. They have this dog, or dogs, and this one, he looks very mean, honestly. This is called The Fer. This is an Imperial Pumpkin Ale, 9% ABV. On the beer cap itself is white, kind of an off-white, and it's got like a bat on it. So that's their normal.
So this would be our second highest ABV then?
Yes.
Today.
Yes. The second highest.
Because nothing's going to touch 13.4.
No, not, yeah. 13.4 stands by itself. So this one here is called this is darker. Wow. That is way darker than I was expecting, Jim.
Limited release.
A limited release. And it says it's an Imperial Pumpkin Ale. So I was still, when it said ale, I was still expecting a lighter beer.
And the head is not white. It's a little bit brownish.
Well, and there's not a lot of head either.
Right.
Well, that in 9%, there's typically not a lot. Huh. I'm not sure if I get much pumpkin.
Wow. That's not a good wow.
Yeah, it has a strong flavor.
The Imperial,
but it's not a bad beer. I'm not saying that, but the flavor, it definitely has a very profound, hard, dark flavor. You know what I mean? I mean, it's I don't know if that's how I describe it right, but it is.
I'm struggling. Unfortunately, folks, this is one of those. Again, it's not a horrendous beer. It's not a bad beer, but boy, I am struggling to drink my glass, and I don't know because it says it's a pumpkin.
Well, it's an Imperial Pumpkin Ale,
but it does not taste like pumpkin.
I don't get pumpkin.
I'm struggling to drink my little glass of it.
What I would like to say, hopefully, it's just because it's an older bottle. Maybe the flavors are off or whatever, but I don't know. Because it's just there's not a huge amount of pumpkin to me at all.
To me, when I hear the word Imperial, it means it's extra.
Yep.
That's the way I kind of take Imperial. I was expecting a lot more pumpkin flavor. I mean, that's just me. And I don't have a lot of pumpkin flavor. I'm struggling to piece it together. It's unfortunately, and I'm not dinging on the company, it may be the worst one we've had today.
As far as
These
the pumpkin,
I don't know. I'm struggling.
I honestly, where I put it in the lineup, I probably put it last right now, just because there's not a lot of pumpkin flavor. All the other ones, they had pumpkin. You could taste pumpkin spice. This one, I don't really even get the spice. I just get there's
something. So when they said the word imperial, they did something to the flavor, and I don't know what.
Well, typically imperial just means higher alcohol, but this one,
I'm struggling.
I don't get a lot of pumpkin flavor. I don't get pumpkin spice flavor. There's very muted spice flavor. Very muted.
It's almost like the malt or whatever was roasted, overcooked.
Oh, correct. I'm sure it's roasted malts in there.
But it's overcooked. It's like very dark.
The beer itself is very dark. Compared to the rest of them, they're definitely dark.
And it almost seems like it was, a little bit overdone or some aspect. I mean, and maybe some people like that flavor. I don't know. But for us, we like flavor. We're not afraid of flavor, but this is just not the right flavor. I don't
know. And again, like we had said before, we found these were in our beer fridge for a little while. Especially my beers have been there for a while. But I think this one here, if I remember right, is pretty reminiscent to when it was fresh. So yeah,
So you want to give a score on it?
So you're gonna put me on the spot here.
Well, you want me to go first?
No, I'll go first. I'm gonna go like a 2.4.
All right, and why do you go 2.4?
2.4. Just I give them kudos. 9%. It doesn't taste boozy, so 9%. I wouldn't have thought it was 9%, but I don't get very much pumpkin or pumpkin spice flavor. And I kind of get a little bit of a strong off-putting some other kind of flavor initially.
Yeah.
So that's why I went 2.4. I think it's average or just a little bit below average because of the fact that the flavor itself, there's just a kind of an off-putting note to it. And I just don't get a lot of pumpkin.
Yeah. I'm in there. I mean, I know the average is 2.5.
Yep.
And it's not a bad beer. It's not for me, it's not an IPA or a sour. Yep. So it's not horrendous.
Correct.
In my opinion. But it's, again, like Mike said, there's not the pumpkin. So if you wanted to have the pumpkin flavor, put the pumpkin flavor in there so I can taste it. I mean, like right now, it just feels like there's still the burnt malt in my mouth.
Like the roasted, yeah. Yep.
So it's still lingering. The finish isn't smooth. It's not as good as I was expecting. I had some high expectations because it said Imperial and it's 9%. So I thought I was expecting, this is going to be up there towards the top.
Right.
Personally, before we open it. So I'm going to be in there with you. I'm going to go like the 2.4. I'm going to stick with you on that one. I'm not going to change that. I just don't think it's there.
Yep.
So we're on our last one.
All right.
What do we got?
So the
big can.
The last pumpkin one we have is by Left Hand Brewing. Yep. Not right hand, it's left hand. Pumpkin Spice Latte Nitro.
Ooh, Nitro.
Pumpkin.
We like Nitro. We like tiny bubbles.
Yes. Pumpkin ale with spices and coffee added.
All right. Well,
now
the write-up sounds good.
Yes. Okay, so let's listen. I'm going to hold this up here because I believe this has the same kind of a thing as like Guinness. So
let's hear it.
Let's listen. Oh, yeah.
It sounded like an old crotchety door, didn't it?
It kind of did.
I was expecting.
So, no. It's like, yeah. So we got to wait for just a second.
All right, here we go.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely
tiny bubbles in there.
Tiny bubbles in there. So
and
we'll go here.
Orange.
It's orange.
It looks orange to me.
It's orange like pumpkin. All right. So this is definitely a Nitro beer.
This is the
left hand. Oh, you need to smell that because that.
Did you fart?
Nope, that smells like pumpkin.
Oh,
that smells like pumpkin spice.
Oh, that smells like pumpkin.
Pumpkin spice is there.
So the aroma is good.
Yes, I mean before we've even tasted it, that is good.
So the smell is very good. I look down at my glass.
Oh,
it's all tiny bubbles.
Oh wow! Everything we said about the last beer, this beer fixed.
Wow,
my opinion. This is pretty good.
Yeah, this is good. So I'm not knocking the last beer. And I'm not trying to. So this is better than the last beer, but it's like the flavors are sharp.
Yeah.
They're not like crisp. I guess I'm trying to differentiate between crisp and sharp. This one is like it's like a knife. Like, wow, this is here.
Yeah.
The flavor is here.
This is pretty good. I'm impressed with this.
So what would be awesome, and I wish we don't have the ability, but to be able to go to this brewery and have this on tap.
Oh, right. Yeah.
With it, the actual nitro from the keg coming to your glass, which we found around here, the beers always taste much better. Mm-hmm. And I think when they try to do the nitro in a can, it doesn't taste the same.
Yep. I would agree. I would agree, but as far as an actual nitro in the can, this is very good.
Yes. Smooth.
Very smooth.
The nitro smooths all the flavors out.
Yep.
I mean,
yep. Because we've had a number of beers where it's in a regular bottle, and then you go to the brewery and it's on nitro, and it changes the flavor.
Right.
But it smooths it out. And this is very smooth.
Yeah, this is a very good. I mean, I'm just trying to pick out the individual flavor. But I mean, you definitely get the pumpkin spice is different than the first two.
Yes.
It's not the same pumpkin spice.
Yep.
And Lord knows what would happen if you put the Prairie or the Three Sheeps on nitro.
Oh, that would blow your mind.
I don't even want to try to think. Right. I mean, the nitro makes them smoother, but those are already good.
Folks, if you've never tried a beer on nitro, you have got to try a beer on nitro. It does change the flavor a little bit, but it so makes the beer more a smoother flavor and taste and all the whole thing. It's just, it changes it, and it changes it for the better.
Right.
And every time we've ever had a beer on nitro, it's never like, the regular one is better. We've never said that. It is really good. And like I said, this one, honestly, Left Hand Brewing, good job. I mean, I'm sure part of it is because they have the nitro thing in the can.
Right.
But my opinion, they have a pretty good balance of the pumpkin spice flavor. I think it's good beer.
So they added coffee, and that might be the bitter end.
Yes. I think you're right.
And unfortunately, I think that's
it might be taking a little bit away from it.
That's my only drawback. I mean, I think that they didn't need to have the coffee, in my opinion. Yep. Everything else tasted
good. If they had just done the pumpkin spice on nitro, I think that would have been really good.
I mean, I'm 100%.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's the coffee, but there's the finish is just.
I do think you're right. It is the coffee. And maybe they added the coffee to make it so it wasn't so mellow. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, but I do think you're right. I think if they would have not had the coffee in there and done this exact beer on nitro without the coffee, it would have been better.
Oh yeah,
it's a very good beer, yes. But I think it would have been pushing. It'd have been pushing a 4 type category beer.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
it's not a bad beer. It's not. We're not knocking it.
Nope.
Just trying to give an opinion that you may not have heard. So we're just trying to let you know. I mean, because it's a good beer, and I still got a tiny bubble. I mean, you poured this a few minutes ago.
Yeah, the head is still there.
Head's still there. Still has tiny bubbles on top.
Personally, Jim, for a score, I'm thinking this is like a 3.8, 3.9. I think it's very good. I very much like the flavor. Of course, the nitro, very smooth. I like that. I do think if they would have left the coffee out, it would have been a little bit higher.
Right.
But I'm gonna go with like a 3.9.
So unfortunately, Mike, we don't see this eye in this one, and only because we started with those top two. It's just based on the flavors I taste out. I know that they could make it better, but what I'm tasting now, I would have to go with the 3.4.
Okay.
A little bit lower, only because the coffee makes it a little bit too bitter. It's a little bit too bitter for me. So it's not a bad thing, but it's just a little bit bitter. Yep. I'm just going to go with 3.4 on this one.
Okay.
Yep. I think that's the only one we didn't agree on.
No, yeah. All right, folks. So we're going to revisit the pumpkin, whatever. We still have some in that can, and we're going to pour some in our glasses just to taste it after it's sat there for a while.
And then you give your little summary on it then, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll give what my top 3 are.
All right.
So now it smells boozy. After we had all these other ones, well, it doesn't smell boozy. I totally can taste or smell the pumpkin in it. Yeah, that's still a good beer. My top 3. Normally, I don't go in any particular order, but my number 1 for sure is the Three Sheeps Pumpkin Spice Veneration. That was head and shoulders above everything else.
Right. So you have number 1.
Oh, my number 1 by far is that. My number 2 is the Prairie, the sour ale, because that I thought was amazing.
Yep. The tasty sour ale.
Yes. And my number 3 is the Nitro, the left hand Brewing Nitro is what I was going with. Right. But I think the first one was head and shoulders number 1 by far, my opinion. Second place, the Prairie Artisan. It was a sour ale, but I think that was head and shoulders number 2.
Okay.
And then I think Nitro was definitely farther ahead of the other ones.
All right. So I'm going to have to agree 100%. The spiced Veneration, no doubt.
Yep.
13% doesn't taste like it.
13.4.
Thank you for the correction.
Yes.
That was, one of those diamond in the rough.
That was out of left field. Wow. Yes.
And the Prairie, I know we've had some Prairie ones before, but that was still a very good beer.
Mm-hmm. So that was that your number 2 then?
Number 1, number 2.
Okay.
The rest, so my number 3 is the Valkyrie.
Okay. Yeah.
It wasn't what I was expecting for pumpkin, but it was for the Nitro one. I think if they had dropped the coffee, I would have put that number 3.
Yep.
But the Valkyrie.
I totally understand.
So that's the only difference I would make.
Yep. No, and they, like I said, all these, considering most of them were in our fridges for a while, they were still very good. And again, this fall, folks, we're going to do a pumpkin. We'll revisit the pumpkin when we can get some fresh ones. But wow, Three Sheeps, it's going to be totally, you got to do something amazing.
Yes.
To come up with that one, because that one was extremely good.
This will be worth the trip to go there to it.
Yeah. The Prairie Artisan Ale, for a sour, that's probably the best sour we probably maybe ever had.
I know. And I don't like sours.
Right.
I will never hold against, to let you know, I will tell you when it's a sour.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if you've listened before, you know for sure that Jim will tell you. But yeah, like I said, I think this was really interesting. Yep. And it'll be interesting this fall when the pumpkin beers come out. We get some fresh ones to try some other ones. Yeah, for sure. We'll for sure do Marzahn, Oktoberfest.
And the pumpkins will come right in with us.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see how they fare.
Yep.
Because I think they were all very good. A couple of them could have used a little bit more pumpkin flavor, but overall, I think they were all extremely good.
Yep.
Representatives for the class.
Well, especially at this time of year, pulling these out.
Yep.
This again, we're reaching in the grab bag. We don't
exactly.
We don't know what's going to happen.
All we knew is we probably needed to change it up from a stout, imperial stout. I do have a bunch of sours in my fridge. I'm going to sneak those in at some point because Jim loves sours.
Yes.
But we're going to try some other stuff here, but we really wanted to, since we weren't out this fall,
right,
to do a pumpkin one. We're going to do one now, but then we're going to come back this fall and do an updated one and just see how it is. But again, it's going to be extremely hard for those pumpkin beers to match that Three Sheeps beer, because that was unbelievable.
Kudos. Good job.
Very good. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our retro look at pumpkin beers for this year until this fall. And again, I hope that your campfires are warm and your beers are cold.
Ooh, yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Northwoods Beer Guy podcast. If you have a question, a comment, or a beer you'd like us to review, please feel free to send us a message at northwoodsbeerguy@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're on Untappd, look up Northwoods Beer Guy and send a friend request. Until next week, I hope all your campfires are warm and all your beer is cold.